This news update is brought to you by...
Don't you deserve a little me time? Play catch up and binge watch full seasons of your favorite TV shows. Available on video on demand from Flow. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today Afternoon Update for Tuesday, February 16, 2016. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. We begin with mixed reaction to government's plans to implement a fingerprinting and facial recognition system at the country's ports of entry. The Royal Barbados Police Force has given the initiative, which goes into effect on April 1 and will see passengers leaving and entering the island being fingerprinted, the thumbs up. However, businessman Robert Pitcher describes the measure as foolishness and stupidness. In a release yesterday, the Chief Immigration Officer, Erin Griffiths, said the only exemptions to these regulations would be holders of diplomatic passports and children under the age of 16. In response, Acting Assistant Commissioner of Crime, Libron Sobers, tells Barbados Today the system was long in coming. He says the move will strengthen efforts by the RBPF in its fight against crime.
They would have to ID people. They keep records of people that are coming and going. You know, not only fingerprint but facial too. Although fingerprint is the best method of ID. That's something that we should be doing ever since.
Do you think this will help with the gun issue?
The gun?
Yeah, and coming into Barbados, the guns that...
Well, not specifically gun. It would help deal with crime. But not specifically gun, I'm not saying it. I don't even think that they should, if they're doing it, would only be doing it for guns. They'd be doing it for crime, and people are traveling. Criminals moving from one country to the other. I think that would be the main thing.
Pitcher, on the other hand, who is a frequent flyer, is hoping that the announcement is nothing but an All Fools' Day joke. He contends that it will only add to existing problems at the airport and discourage visitors.
It's got to be a global thing to be done, not just in the Caribbean, because if you do it in the Caribbean, tourists will stop coming to the Caribbean. You know, right now, tourists find it very difficult going through the scanner and then having to be pat down, having to take off shoes and take off belt, take off coat. Now, for the next thing for you to do is to talk about you fingerprinting everybody that passing through the island. Stupidness.
So you see it affecting tourism then?
Of course, it would kill tourism.
He also dismissed the suggestion that the move will bring Barbados in line with international ports of entry.
What Barbados needs to bring in line in the first place is to make certain that we have not only an international airport, but a Category 1 airport. We need to do that, and we are 10 years behind time with that. Okay. It's not a priority right now. What is a priority is to make us a Category 1 airport. And talking about adopting international standards in North America, when you reach the age of 65, you do not take off your shoes any longer. But in the Caribbean, we have not changed that. We still continue with it.
Prime Minister Frondell Stewart says the Caribbean community needs to do some serious soul searching if it is to fulfill its promise to the people of the region. Addressing the opening of the Heads of Government 27th Intersessional Summit in Belize last night, the outgoing Caricom chairman said the community needed to assess its strength and examine the important elements that have been lost in the regional integration movement. He said it was the only way for the 15-member grouping to remain both vibrant and relevant in the 21st century.
In order for Caricom to fulfill its immense promise, first we should look at the strengths of our movement and seek to retain them at all costs. Second, we must look backward at important elements that we have lost in the regional integration movement and seek to reclaim them. Third, we must look inward at our movement to carefully identify those aspects that hinder us, which we can discard and should do so with some urgency. We must then look forward to see what new or different measures we need urgently to adopt to ensure that our movement remains both vibrant and relevant in this 21st century, but more importantly, that it remains a sustainable project that continues to meet the needs of the people of the Caribbean.
In other news, 45-year-old Kelvin Ricardo Callender has been remanded to prison after appearing in the District A Magistrates Court today on several charges in connection with $1 million drug bust. Callender of Wildy Terrace, St. Michael, was arrested on Sunday and charged after police discovered 20.9 kilograms of cocaine hidden in his cellar worth $1,045,000. 183 grams of cannabis was also found in his car. He is charged with possession with intent to supply, trafficking of cocaine and cannabis. He appeared before Magistrate Douglas Frederick in Criminal Court number 1 this morning and is scheduled to return on March 15. The Barbados National Council of Parent-Teacher Association says it supports the recent stance taken by Education Minister Ronald Jones on the manner in which students wear their uniforms. Minister Jones sounded a call for principals to prevent any student who is not properly attired from entering the classroom. BNCPTA head Sean Gibbs tells Barbados Today he fully agrees, adding that such mannerisms must begin at home.
I'm in full support of the matter on good comment on the dress code. And this is where parents must be responsible. You will not leave my house unless you're appropriately attired for school, according to the schools that are issued at the beginning of the school year, the first formers. And the only aspect of the school dress code that changed is when you move from uniform to overall, or from short pants to long pants. But with clear guidelines how the uniform should be worn.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Lord, these papers ain't selling at all. Get your paper. Only $2.25, get your paper. Get your paper, miss. Look, take it, I can pay for it. Barbados Today, all the way.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Well, it may be the month of love, but it is also the month of AgriFest. It is here, AgriFest 2016 at Queen's Park on February 26th through 28th, highlighting the theme, Grow, Sell, Eat, We Beat. A humongous amount of attractions and activities for everybody. So don't Dixie doodle your physiog. I, Brother Daddy, will be there, along with my sheep, Dolly, Dootsy, and Dan. So come, let me celebrate the very best of agriculture in the Caribbean.
In news from the region, opposition leader Bart Jagdio is calling on the Guyana Public Service Union to lobby for a 50% pay hike for workers. We get more in this report from Capital News.
The Guyana Public Service Union must demand a 50% salary increase for public servants, says opposition leader Bart Jagdio. The former president, during the budget debate, said he supports government's decision to reintroduce collective bargaining.
I hope that the public service unions will request at least a 50% increase in wages and salaries. Because if the ministers got a 50% increase in wages and salaries on a $579,000 base, then at least the public servants can get a 50% on a $50,000, $75,000 base. And so I hope when they come to the table and make that argument that they would not be told that their proposal is unrealistic.
On the international scene, the World Health Organization backs trials of genetically modified mosquitoes to fight against the Zika virus. The WHO also said sterile irradiated male mosquitoes could also be released to mate with females in the wild. However, environmentalists have warned of the possible consequences of wiping out an entire species. Zika has been linked to microcephaly in babies. Meantime, a therapy that retrains the body's immune system to fight cancer is causing much excitement after more than 90% of terminally ill patients reportedly went into remission. White blood cells were taken from patients with leukemia, modified in the lab, and then put back. But while the trial is exciting, experts warn it is still early days yet.
Well, these are very exciting results, but as you say, it's important to remember this is still early days. We're still trying to figure out exactly what we can do with this type of technology. So effectively, what they're doing is they're taking immune cells from the body and re-engineering them, retargeting them so they go after cancer cells. Now, because the way we're tinkering with them, there's a lot of questions and a lot of challenges we need to face. How do we make them as safe as possible? How do we make them as effective as possible? And how do we make them last as long as possible? And that's really what this particular work was looking at, is trying to make sure we can do this in a way where those cells that we put back into the patients go on to live as long as possible to hopefully provide long-lasting treatment.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good afternoon.